on, guys? It's your boy Killer from Xfil. Today we're going over competitive settings for ranked. I play on an Xbox. Most of the settings I'm going to be going over today are universal through Xbox and PC. Therefore, you will not need to go look up another tutorial. You should be good with this one. So we're in game. Step 1, get into your game. Season 2 comes out tomorrow, so competitive comes with Season 2. Therefore, you want to have the best settings overall. And I'm not talking controller settings today. I might touch into it a little bit. I might put out another video with how to reduce input lag, specifically on console, because that's a really big issue. Today we're going to be going over your visual settings, your sound settings, just stuff I recommend overall for having just a little bit of an advantage on PC players and sweats, because you are going to be dealing with those a lot. Do not worry. So let's get right into it. Let's start with graphics. So graphics on my Xbox, I'm going for frames. I want to have the most frames I can because that is going to give you the advantage in gunfights. So on-demand texture streaming, don't turn that on. You don't need it unless you're going for some cool cinematics or something in Codcaster. I don't know. Motion blur, you can turn this all off. Motion blur is going to make your game look a lot almost slower. It's going to look a lot crisper, a lot sharper. You're going to be able to see your targets a lot easier as well. People will be a lot more defined when there's not motion blur on your screen when you're turning. Film grain, I turn this to 0. You don't need film grain. It's just going to mess up your view. Depth of field, this is going to affect your frames. It doesn't say it, but it will. Turn that off. You do not need it. And then on console, obviously you only have the option for Fidelity FX Cast, but on computer you can, I'm pretty sure, select a few different ones depending on what your GPU is. So for console and also on computer, you're going to want to turn on your Fidelity Cast. That's really the only one that matters. Turn that on. I have mine set to 50. Some people preach for setting it to 100. I don't think you need to set it to 100. It definitely affects frames the more you crank it up. I think halfway is a pretty good middle ground for that. Hertz, your refresh rate. The higher hertz you have, the easier it's going to be for you to get a slight advantage in gunfights, for you to notice a player before they chow you. Not everybody has a 120 hertz monitor or a high refresh rate monitor if you're on PC, because PC doesn't have a limit. Console, we're locked to either 60 or 120. Of course, this step is going to actually make you spend money, which sucks. Obviously, you're not going to want to go spend a couple $100 on a nice monitor if you just want to have fun competing. Obviously, if you're a sweatier player and you really want to push for it, go for a nicer monitor. Field of view. This is a bit personal preference. I know on console and probably on PC as well. Obviously, I can't really reference it because I don't have one with me right now. It's at my house. Having a higher field of view is going to slightly affect your frame rate, so it might be better to turn it down a little bit. Vanguard I played on 110. Cold War I played on 110. Just lower enough where it's still manageable. It still feels like you're pretty high FOV. Your third person, that doesn't really matter. This is a pretty crucial one. First person camera movement. Turn that down to 50. It'll probably be at, I'm pretty sure when you start it's at 100. Turn that down to 50. This is going to affect the shaking of your camera within your first person view. So grenades, stuns, if somebody calls in a cruise missile and that hits the ground near you, your screen obviously is going to shake. You want to turn this down. You want the least amount of shakes so that you can keep your aim steady. So that's all the graphic settings on here. If you're on PC, you're going to have a lot more customizability with your individual graphical settings. So obviously going through and adjusting those to give you the most frames. All right, let's jump over to interface. You're probably gonna be like, what? Why are we on interface? Colors. Weirdly, this game has some weird color deals. When you load up the game natively, you're going to be set to no color filter, and none of this will be enabled. Obviously, you can customize the colors of all of this stuff. Your game is going to kind of look maybe a little bit dull. So here it is now, and then I'll cut to the color filter changed, and you can hopefully see a pretty noticeable difference of how vibrant everything looks. So in your interface, in this first readability tab, at least on console, that's how it is. PC, I don't know. Click this color customization bar right here. Color filter, you want to set that to filter 2. Color filter target is probably going to be set to one of these two. Switch it to both. World color intensity, you're going to want to set between, I'm pretty sure it's 80 and 100. I think 85 is what I go with because I don't want it too intense. Obviously, this is going to change kind of the contrast of your colors, I'm pretty sure. Your interface color intensity, put that to 100. It might already be at 100, but whatever it's at, crank that all the way up. Your HUD color palette, pretty sure it's actually Tritanopia is the one you want, but I've actually customized mine. So for myself in game, like on the map, what I do, mine is this color here. You can look at the code if you want to copy it down. For my team, I go with just a light blue. I don't know why. This is just what I've gone with. Here's that color. Of course, you want to copy it down as well in the hex code. For my party, I make it a darker blue so it's noticeable. I just look for kind of the darker color, and I know that's my team. Enemy, this is actually probably the most important one. Here is my custom color for enemies. Pink seems to be the go-to for most people. Here's the code I use to make it as vibrant as possible. This color pops a lot. It makes it really easy to see against most surfaces in game. For neutral, so what this color is just basically bomb points, hard points. The marker for whatever the objective is, that is your neutral color. So if a hard point is not capped, it's going to be white, obviously. I want it to be very neutral white color, so that I can tell nobody's on the point. I can jump on it. Then contested, I make a lighter pink, so it's a pretty much perfect middle between the enemy color and neutral. You can make this whatever you want. I see people run red for this. I just prefer the pink because it's easy to notice that it's not a vibrant pink, that it's a light pink. Obviously, colors are up to you. You don't need to worry too much about that. One other little side tip. Down here, scroll all the way down in your interface tab, and you should have this stuff. Center dot. Center dot's really important. Pretty sure it's a new thing they added this year. It's basically adding a little dot to the exact center of your aim in the middle of your screen. And this does not go away when you are moving around. So it really helps, especially if you're new to COD competitive. It really helps with your centering. This is what it looks like in game as well. So doesn't matter what gun you're holding. Once you do aim in, obviously the circle appears, but when you ADS all the way in, it disappears while you're ADS'd, but then it pops right back up the second your gun is just a little bit off of ADS. So it helps a lot. Works for everything. Even if you're experienced, it does help a lot with gunfights. All right, so now we're going to talk about sound settings. Sound settings in this game, unfortunately, are kind of a big deal. PC's got a really stupid issue right now with sound. Pretty sure it's called like sound equalization. So I'm going to show you my personal settings for console to kind of get as much of an advantage as I can, because obviously you got to do what you can to compete with the PC players. That's just how it goes. So for audio mix, I have seen people running home theater as their go-to on console. You can do that. That might be fine. Headphone boost or bass boost is typically what I go to though. But mono audio, this basically, you don't want this on. You definitely don't want this on. This is going to make all of the audio come in at the same time from both ears. You cannot tell if somebody is over here or over here because it's coming through both. And also, it's going to make your footsteps way quieter. So don't turn this on. It is not going to help. You want to turn that off so you can have perception of what direction things are happening in. Same with gunshots, same with grenades, stuns, stuff coming in, things hitting the floor. You want to tell where that's happening. All of this stuff is personal preference. Down here for your hit marker sound effects, I just have this set to MW. Classic is going to give you the louder tick sound that you've heard obviously in pretty much every other game. This is personal preference. You can run either. I think MW is fine. Keeps it fairly quieter. Reduce tinnitus sound, turn that on as well. It's not fun to hear a loud ringing when you're trying to focus up on a hard point. Master volume, you want to open this up after you change the stuff down there. Music volume, I have this either turned off or very low. Dialogue volume, this is the comms of the actual like stuff in game, so like your operator making callouts. You still want to be able to hear those, but you don't want to hear them too much. Effects volume, you want that at 100. This is your explosions, gunshots, footsteps are in this category, so you want effects all the way up. And then your hit marker volume, I have this set to 30. You can do anywhere between maybe 10 and like 40 at most, I would say. You want your hit markers to be quieter. It's not that important. You can very well still hear your hit markers, but it's just not as big of a thing, you know? Because if this is set all the way up, it's going to be very, very loud. And it can definitely get distracting if you're trying to decipher footsteps while you're taking shots at somebody else. So that is my preferred audio settings for console, at least. It's definitely going to be different if you're on PC. Keep pushing it. Keep challenging. Keep getting it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully, get some content from the other members, because that would be pretty epic. So yeah, good luck in ranked. Hopefully these settings were helpful to you. I'll see you guys in the next one.